Welcome, my name is Denver SDQ, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks that I can do on this device. Now, beginning with the first one, it's going to be the System UI Tuner, which you can find by holding the gear icon right here. So you want to hold it without actually moving it. It will become circled and then the gear will start spinning, at which point you can let go. So that might be a little bit hard to show, but maybe I can do it somehow. So as you can see right now it's spinning. If I let go, it gives you a message, open up setting, congrats, System UI Tuner has been enabled. And now you can find it, I believe, in System. Yep, there it is. And from here, when you tap on it, just tap on Got It and go to Status Bar. And in the Status Bar section, you can basically remove everything from your status bar if you wish to. So this is just a way to clean up your status bar of unwanted toggles, like for instance Bluetooth or hotspot, Wi-Fi, whatever it is that you don't want to show, you can basically remove from here. And it just cleans up the status bar of unwanted, well, clutter. For the most part, you probably know that, for instance, you have Wi-Fi enabled or some other stuff, so there is not really any point to it showing in the status bar. And besides, you can still see it in here if you pull it down. So as you can see, Wi-Fi is enabled. So just a way for you to have a little bit of a cleaner look. Then moving on, we're going to go into the DuraSpeed, which will increase the performance of apps by limiting others. So it boosts the performance of the foreground app while limiting the background apps. And to get in there, we're going to go into the settings and go to DuraSpeed, enable it, and from here you can also select which apps you want it. So for instance, you can choose YouTube. Now there's only the stock apps that I have on the device. I don't have anything installed on here, so that's why there's only that many of them. But once you enable it, you can just leave it and forget about it, and it will work in the background as it needs to for the apps that are selected. Then moving on, we're going to go into the show password option, which as an example, starting off, I'm going to try to connect to a Wi-Fi. That's because it shows me password. So as you can see, there's the password field, and whenever you type any kind of password anywhere, it will show you the dots, but it also, for some odd reason, it shows the letter that you have pressed on here, which in my opinion is fairly not secure, considering if someone can look at it, they will basically get your entire password provided in a sequence visible for, well, each letter before it actually becomes a dot. So let's cancel that, and to change this we can go into the settings again and go to security and location, scroll down, and you'll find show password. Disable that, and now if we go back to typing in a password, you no longer see any kind of letter in here. It's immediately a dot, as you can see. So just adds a little bit more security to, well, your passwords. Sorry for that. And the last thing that I want to show is the animation speed. So because this isn't necessarily the fastest device, it kind of struggles because of the animation speeds. Now I also can't really go to recents to show additional animations. That button doesn't actually work for me, but normally as you press recent, it shows up the panel with recents, then you tap on it and kind of zooms in. When you open something up, and you can see it goes up. When you close it, it slides down, and this is all animation. And sometimes it chugs a bit because the phone isn't necessarily the fastest. So to increase how it feels in terms of performance, we're just gonna disable the animation or shorten them by half of it. Now probably disabling will be better, at least in terms of how quick you can access apps, and also limiting that animation that it needs to go through. But then in certain cases it might look a little bit jarring when you have some kind of animated shadow area, which still has, well, retains the animation speed of kind of like fading in and out in terms of like background, but for instance the panel that it's supposed to appear with is just instant. So you can basically go enable both of them and see which one suits you better if you find it or don't. But to change the animation speed, we will need to go into the developer options, which are in system, as you can see right here. And just a heads up, by default I believe they will be disabled, so if you don't see anything here in system, you don't see the developer options, you will need to go down to about phone and find the build number. So it's right at the bottom. Tap on that 7 times, and for me it says no need, you're already a developer. But for you, after pressing it 7 times, there's 2 things that can happen. Either it will give you a message that you are now a developer, or it will give you a lock screen if you have one set, which I do not. So if you have some kind of lock screen, it will pop it up and you need to confirm it, and then it will be enabled. And from there, let's go back to developer options, and you want to scroll down to animation sections, which will be, there we go, window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animation duration scale. Now you can change each one of them from 1 to 0.5, which will decrease the animation by half, so that will be way faster. Or you can simply go to off, and this will completely remove the animation. And as you can see, there is no more animation for opening up and closing stuff. It just goes instantly. Now, this would conclude all the tweaks and tricks that I want to share, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.